I almost lost $52,000. Not all at once, not in a dramatic way. I almost lost it quietly without even noticing. Starting with $300 a month. Something that's that small. I know, right? And the reason it took me so long to see is because nothing felt wrong. It was just $300. I remember opening my banking app one night while sitting on my couch. And I had the TV on and I was probably doing a little snacking as well. But that's not the point. But there was no stress, no panic. I was just checking. And the number looked familiar, like I'd seen it before. That's when it hit me. My savings hadn't really moved in years. But what bothered me was that I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was paying my bills on time. I didn't have credit card debt. No wild spending. I was pretty controlled with the spending. My weeks were boring. I started, groceries and gas and, rent. A couple meals out of the week. If someone looked at my finances, they'd probably say I was a responsible person with financials, with my money. And that made it harder to spot the problem. Again, let's just keep in mind that this is my $300. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, right? The first change I can point to was my apartment. Same area, the exact same commute, just newer, a little bit more light, and probably a little bit more quieter. Rent went up about $300 a month. There's that $300 again. That silent $300, that quiet $300. And I remember telling myself, this is fine. I can afford this. And I could. I mean, again, I was really good at my finances and, following what I need to follow. So I stopped thinking about it, right? Then after that, small things started shifting, right? I stopped driving across town to save a few dollars on groceries. I upgraded my phone plan so I wouldn't think about data. Yeah, I'm at that point now. I don't have to worry about a data plan, right? I ordered food on nights when I didn't feel like cooking. Nothing felt excessive. It just felt life was getting smoother. I didn't have any stress. Again, I work hard. Kind of deserve to have a laid back life, right? Just to be able to chill. But one night I opened a calculator. Not because I was stressed, because I was curious. That $300 a month again. There's that quiet $300 a month, right? I started doing these calculations. I said, that's $3,600 a year. And I remember leaning back and thinking, okay, that's nothing. It's only $300. So I kept going, right? If that same $300 a month had been invested monthly at a 7%, let's say, rate of return, and after 10 years, it would end up being about $52,300. It's pretty nice when you come to think of it right now, right? But that's when it clicked. I almost lost $52,000, not because I made a bad decision, but because I made one decision and never looked at it again because it's quiet. Remember, that was a $300 quiet little number. Wasn't too much. It's a $300 quiet number. So what surprised me most was what happened when my income increased. See, I thought that would fix everything. Growing up, where sometimes your parents don't always have money, you say, I'm going to change. I'm going to have money for myself so that I cannot have to worry about these things, right? So when I thought that my higher income would fix everything, I found out that life just got easier. I started to get better things like, better food, better coffee, less friction with dealing with certain things. Things are more accessible to me, right? But the $300, it felt even smaller. There's that $300, that quiet 300. This is what made it even easier to ignore. And that's just being honest. It's just being honest. $300. It don't sound like nothing until you start calculating it later in life, right? But in any case, I didn't feel reckless. I felt like an adult, a responsible adult. But I gotta tell y'all, that's the dangerous part. See, these choices don't feel like mistakes. They feel like progress. Again, remember, we working hard. We get a better income. We deserve it. We want to reward ourselves, right? So we feel like that's progress. And that's why they stick. That's why it's called a quiet 300. Now, before adding any monthly expenses, I paused. Even if it's small, I don't ask, can I afford this? What I ask personally is, if I never undo this, what does it cost me later? Time, flexibility, accessibility, And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't regret upgrading my life. I don't. I appreciate what I was able to do with the hard-earned money that I made. I do regret how quickly those upgrades stopped and feeling like decisions. See, most people don't lose money dramatically. They almost lose it slowly, quietly. And remember, one unnoticed month at a time, you start to forget about it.